If you're in the market for something small but practical, stylish, and fast, you're probably thinking about a Volkswagen GTI. This is one of the cars that pioneered the idea of cheap, fast, and fun. And the 2025 model has gotten a major refresh with a lot of new details on the inside and some new ones on the outside. Now we are going to drive this car, or most likely not this car, might be a different color a little later in the video, and we're gonna take it out on a racetrack. But for now, let's focus on some of those exterior updates. If you're trying to spot the difference between the 2025 GTI and a 2022, 3, or 4, well, the big tells are gonna be redesigned headlights, a slightly redesigned front bumper, a new Volkswagen badge that's illuminated in the center, and an illuminated upper grille here. Now there are some other elements that carry over from the earlier years that I particularly like, one being this collection of 5 running lamps. I also like this lower fascia. It's plastic and frankly feels a little flimsy, but I think it looks pretty cool. Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Do you like the new face? One of the things I've always liked about this car, every generation of this car, is just how diminutive it is. I mean, this is probably the biggest GTI we've ever seen, and yet behind me, it looks pretty tiny. Now, it's sold in an array of, well, shades, kind of, because we've got a black, a white, a gray. There are a couple new ones, though. They replaced an outgoing silver with the new version of silver, and we got rid of the old blue for this blue. This one is called slate blue, and frankly, I think it looks really good, particularly when you have the red GTI lettering just below this wing mirror. Now overall, it still has that classic 2-box design, classic hot hatchback shape. This one is an SE trim. It's available in S, SE, and Autobahn trim. So at the mid-level, we've got 18-inch wheels. There's also 18-inch wheels on the S trim. If you get the Autobahn, it has 19-inch wheels and a new design for 2025. I don't know about you, but I feel like cars these days are getting really busy in their design language. And the GTI, well, it's not. It's still classic. Maybe that's because this is a German hatchback and it's a little more reserved. I do still like the red GTI lettering down below. I like the Volkswagen emblem, really clean taillights. We've got twin exhaust ports down below. Everything looks really good. In fact, it's so understated, so simple. You look and you almost say, well, where's the handle? It's right back here. VW logo lifts up. Anybody who's owned a VW before is not surprised by that. They've been doing it for years. And back in the trunk, we have 19.9 cubic feet of cargo space. That's pretty good. I mean, it's why you buy a hatchback. If you fold down the rear seat, it's about 34.5 cubic feet. That's not exactly class leading, but it is still, well, it's reasonably useful. So you can, fit a couple extra tires, maybe your drum set in there. It's not a minivan, but a minivan doesn't drive like this. Inside the 2025 Volkswagen GTI, it feels restrained, but undeniably an enthusiast car. I mean, this is the SE trim, which has Club Sport Art Velour seats. That's fun just to think about. They're black with pretty cool red trim. Not a huge fan of contrast stitching, but I think it works in a car like this. Similarly, we kind of have this metal woven design on the dash here. We have a lot of piano black, particularly in the middle. This is gonna get all fingerprinty, but we have a really nice soft touch material on this center armrest, which is surprisingly hard to close. There we go. And then over here, it's plastic, but it has a nice smooth finish. We have really easily understood controls for our side view mirrors and our window switches. Up top, we have some haptic buttons here for the headlights, but on the steering wheel, no more haptic buttons. Volkswagen has gone back to using physical buttons. That's a huge step forward as far as I'm concerned. One of those things that feels like a step backwards, actually a step forwards. And then there is the massive 12.9-inch touchscreen display. This is standard on every GTI now. We're gonna get into the tech in a little bit, but notice how it's canted towards the driver. That's because the Volkswagen GTI really is a driver's car, and it feels like a driver's car, but there's one key element to every driver's car that is missing in this one. That is the manual transmission, because for 2025, Volkswagen is not selling the GTI with a manual anymore. The only option is a 7-speed DCT automatic. Now, I know you have some opinions on that. Remember, there is a comment section below. I want to hear your thoughts, and I want to get driving so I can tell you my thoughts on how this car performs without that manual. I know it's a good automatic, but am I going to miss the manual? We'll see. Up top, we have a nice panoramic sunroof. Otherwise, pretty nice controls. This is a little dinky, but that's okay. Harman Kardon stereo in the SE trim. And in the back, well, it looks pretty spacious, but let's see how I fit. Ooh, well, hey, how about that? I'll tell you, normally when I get in the back seat of a compact hatchback, it takes a little more dexterity than that did. I have a surprisingly good amount of space. I've got good foot room underneath the seat, and I've got plenty of leg room. This seat is set for my height. I'm about 5'11", and I'm not even pressed up against it. If I were, this is a really nice soft seat back. We've got a couple pockets up here, good for a cell phone. There's a larger map pocket back here, 2 air vents, there's 2 USB-C ports lower down here. We definitely have more hard plastic material in the back than we had up front, but that's pretty par for the course. You expect to see that in the back seat of a vehicle. I will say, well, this is nice. I like that this center armrest here, it's got the cup holders, but it doesn't flop down against the seat. It's stiffened up there. That's good. And you are probably going to want to use this more than you're going to want to use the seat itself, because there's a pretty big hump in the middle here. Not going to be fun if you're taller than, oh, I don't know, 30 inches tall. Sit back here. And this folds forward, so we do have a pass-through if you want to load up some skis. They might need to be pretty short skis. Couple lights up here. Got a, oh boy, handle. That's probably good because it is a GTI. And I do think the belt line's pretty high, but it doesn't feel like it's so high that I would get sick back here. But again, I guess that depends on who's driving. All right, now that we are on the road and the sunglasses are on, let's talk about the engine under the hood of the 2025 Volkswagen GTI. Surprise, it's the same engine that was under the hood in 2024. VW calls it their EA888 Evo 4 engine. You and I, we can just call it a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And the important numbers: 241 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of torque coming out of a little 4-cylinder engine, and it comes on just when you want it to. It is the soupy goodness. Very, very high. It's honestly, it's the more important number than the horsepower figure in this car. It's what makes it so fun. It feels like you are just constantly clawing. You always have that power on tap to keep going, particularly on the windy roads. Terrific fun. It would be more fun with a manual transmission in the car. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I wish we still had the 6-speed manual. Instead, we're working with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, which is, to be fair, a really good unit. I mean, Volkswagen's been putting this thing in their cars for years. The shifts are sharp. Everything is smooth when you want it to be, and it's aggressive when you don't want it to be. Or when you do want it to be aggressive, when you don't want it to be overly smooth. Now, if you're interested to know, I found it very curious. It wasn't the American market that was saying no to the manual transmission. No, the take rate, the percentage of buyers in the US in 2024 who were picking the manual transmission, it was up at 30, 35, maybe even as high as 40%. It was over in Germany where the take rate was down around 3%. And that's why Volkswagen said, well, hey, it doesn't make financial sense to keep offering this car with both transmissions if so many of the buyers, particularly in the European market, are not picking it. So the next time you bemoan the manual transmission, just remember, not our fault, buddy, not our fault. Now, when I evaluate a car, particularly a little sporty car like the GTI, the things I think about: the steering feel, the pedal feel, that's the brake and the accelerator. How does the chassis respond? How's the suspension? And I gotta tell you, the steering in this car It's good. It's a progressive variable ratio steering system, which means it gets a little heavier the faster you go. It's a little lighter, easier to maneuver at lower speeds, and all in, I feel like it's not as sharp as it could be. It's direct, sure, as I give it a little shimmy there, but you still get quite a bit of play, a little bit of a numbness off center, and that's not great. But the chassis itself is, I mean, here's some rough road over there. It's smooth when you want it to be. The Autobahn has a DCC adaptive suspension, which essentially will read the road for imperfections and smooth things out even more. We don't have that on this SE trim, and I'm still pretty pleased with how comfortable this car is to drive. And of course, it's low to the ground. It's a small little sporty car. There's not a ton of roll in it. Nothing really to complain about there. The brakes, and the brake pedal feels terrific. It doesn't feel spongy. It's a solid pedal. It's a very direct, linear feel. There's no surprise bite point on it. Really happy with the brakes. And the throttle, as we lay on the gas here, it takes a second to come on. It's not right there at tip-in, but as I was commenting with the amount of torque in this car, once you start to go, come on, squirrel! Good. And once you start to get going, whoo, it just claws and claws, and plenty of power. All in, I mean, the GTI is a fun car to drive. It's always been a fun car to drive. And outside of a little wobbliness in the steering, there's another big bump. Again, the chassis really soaks it up without feeling like we're just wallowing about. All in, it is still a fun car to drive. I'm really excited to be out here on the road with it. And I'm excited to be driving on the track shortly. We'll get more into how the car feels once we are on the track. So we are now on the racetrack, which is always exciting. I like being out here, even if I'm not actually that good at it. That's okay. The GTI is kind of made for the weekend warrior, the track day enthusiast who's not a die-hard racer. It's got multiple drive modes, and one of the things I like about this car is the individual or the custom mode. Kind of overcooked that one. The custom mode allows you to set the steering, the throttle to sport, but say you want the ride comfort at comfort setting instead. Well, that's no problem, you can do that too. And now, if we're going to talk about one of the things that historically has really pained front-engine, front-wheel drive vehicles like the GTI, it is understeer. Now that's the sensation when you are steering into a corner, you're cranking the wheel over, and it is just not tracking that line quite as tightly as you want it to. That's just the laws of physics at work. In the GTI, there is an electronic torque sensing limited slip differential that can talk to the electronic stability control and traction control management systems that all works together to help negate some of that understeer. So how does it work? Let's see. If I just shut up for a moment and focus, I'll report back. You really can feel it at work, which is impressive. Bring it up over this, run it out wide. Tap those brakes, tighten it up. Really, oh God, you really got to be incredibly patient there. And all in, I mean, this car is so much fun. Throttle input is right on the money. Again, the brakes, incredibly satisfying, really good. Bring it down hard in here. And yeah, back on the throttle. Steering definitely tightens up, weightens up a bit when you get going a little faster, but in general, you can see there's still, it's not razor sharp. But I'm also not a professional race car driver. And with that, we're gonna bring it right back out on the road. We'll finish up with some tech, some safety, and then wrap up the video. Woo, heart rate's bumping. There's one major benefit to Volkswagen's decision to go fully automatic transmission, and that is that a lot of those safety systems that were previously only available on the cars that had automatic transmissions, well, now VW gets to state that they are standard equipment. So, for instance, IQ Drive, that's VW's suite of advanced driver assistance systems. It includes things like automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. All of that is now standard. And that also includes IQ Drive's drive assist function, which kind of pairs the adaptive cruise control with the lane keeping assist to help you do some of that eyes on, hands off highway driving, really good at reducing driver fatigue. There are also a few advanced driver assistance systems that are now available that were previously unavailable. So every trim gets traffic sign recognition. Really happy to see that. You also have adaptive headlights on the SE trim, and the Autobahn trim gets something called Park Assist Plus. But we've been talking quite a bit about safety, and I know this is a GTI and we like to talk about practicality and speed and performance, so head over to CarGurus.com if you do want to read more about the safety features. Tech is an area that is getting a major update for 2025. In this GTI, we have a 12.9-inch touchscreen display, and I'm happy to report that you get the same display whether you get the S, this SE, or the top-level Autobahn trim. Now, as you can see, it is bright, it looks really good. There are still a few things that annoy me. We're relying on touch sliders for the volume and down here for the climate control as well. They are illuminated, so at least you can see them at night, but I mean, a good old-fashioned volume knob I wouldn't say no. There are two USB-C ports down here, and all in, I think it's a really clean, crisp look. I like the interior on these vehicles. The older GTI and the older Golf R, in fact, they had kind of an old school, more analog look to them, and there's charm to that, but there's no denying that this looks modern. Now, the screen itself, it's reasonably quick. It's not blazing fast. The icons are really big. I will say, this is the first day I've spent with the screen, and it takes a little getting used to. Now, we do have wireless Android Auto, all connected. There's this little bank of 8 green squares. This is critical. Don't forget that this is here, because this is how you get to kind of the main menu functions: your phone, radio, nav, vehicle settings. If you need to get into Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, there's quick access there. We also have hard-coded buttons up top. I should say icons, they're not physical buttons. And in general, I mean, it's not super hard to use. We've got touch buttons here for the seat heaters. Wouldn't mind if those were physical. There's a lot of customization you can do. So each of these tiles, particularly if you move on to the next side, you can customize those, make that show exactly what you want it to show. We also have a digital cockpit here, digital driver information display, and then of course the hard buttons on the steering wheel are a super nice touch. So if you don't want to use the sliders, there are physical buttons for volume on the wheel, physical buttons for changing track, and then of course you've got the right side, which kind of handles the driver information display, and the left side is all your driver assistance features. I think it's an upgrade. It's not perfect. There's still things that we could do. I wish there were more physical controls, but it looks good, and I mean, it's certainly an improvement over where we were a year ago. Some automakers will make a halo vehicle, and it will be extreme performance, extreme price, and usually extremely impractical. Volkswagen views the GTI and the Golf R as the soul of its brand. And I love that, because these cars are fast and they are fun. They're also practical and they're pragmatic. Fuel economy comes in at 24 mpg city, 32 highway, and 27 in combined driving, and you just can't have more fun than this with that little of a fuel economy penalty. But we do need to talk about cost, because the GTI has gotten a bit more expensive. The destination fee is now $1,225, and when you add that to the S trim's base price, well, you're looking at $33,670, and that's just to start. An SE is bumping up against $39K, and an Autobahn trim over $42. So tell us in the comment section below, is this vehicle worth the new cost, the higher price tag? I, for one, think that it is a terrific performer. I love the practical nature, but we need to hear from you. Thank you, as always, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Head to CarGurus.com to read my full written review of the GTI and our full written review of the Golf R. We'll see you next time.